Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back to another new video. Today we are filming inside my home office because the weather is kind of ugly outside here in California, albeit not freezing cold and still palatable, but just not great for filming. So I thought I'd shoot this in here. Plus, I want to use my computer screen to show you all some stuff today. And the point I want to really drive home, harder than I've ever driven anything home, is that you all need to stop agreeing to markups with these dealerships. Stop it today. As a matter of fact, I would make the plea that you should immediately call the dealership that you placed an order with, get your deposit back, and unravel the deal and tell them you do not want to order a car with a pre-built markup on it. And I'm telling you to do this for you, for your family, for your financial safety, so that you don't burn cash. I'm hoping this video reaches enough people that some of you, if not a lot of you, wake up and realize that what you're being pulled into is probably one of the worst scams, in my opinion, in history of car buying, meaning you're going to get pinched for $10,000, $15,000, 10, 15% more than a car is worth and will likely be worth in your entire existence. You will never see the value come back. What's happening with these dealerships right now is that they are taking all future appreciation up front. Let me be clear. When they stick a markup on these cars, they are taking the appreciation that you've convinced yourself exists in these cars. And I get it. We all believe in these cars. We love these cars. We love the Dodge Charger. We love the Dodge Challengers. These things are just part of our souls, like they are to me. I'm on my 7th one. I believe these are some of the coolest, most fun cars you could ever own. With that said, yes, they're going away in 2023, and yes, the dealers are taking advantage of us. Dodge, to an extent, is, I would say, taking some advantage, but not as much because they are raising prices. So expect for sure, as soon as they change pricing on the Dodge website where you can build and price out your car, that you will see an increase in prices from last year. They did it the year before, and they did it the year before. We know that's going to happen. That doesn't bother me as much because that's kind of normal. Along with inflation and the cost to build things, that makes sense. The cost to create these cars and the parts that are really hard to get now, I understand that price increase. But then on top of it, for these dealers to add markups, 10, 15, 20, $50,000 for a black Ghost on eBay. There's people trying to resell their reservations that they've made with dealers at ridiculous markups for like $500,000. This is ridiculous. But keep in mind, every one of you, at least that have commented about this and have told me, yes, but you know what, OC Motivator, the prices are going to go up. These are going to go to the moon. This is like buying gold at the cheapest possible price you can buy it, because as soon as I buy this car, it's going to go up in value because these cars are going away. This is a farce. This is something that's been created and put into our brains to make us feel like we're going to miss out on an opportunity. But let me be clear, almost every one of you plans to drive this car. And if you drive that car, you're going to put miles on it. If you put miles on it, you're going to break it and you're going to have wear and tear. And that is going to make the car depreciate in value at a normal rate. With that said, Dodge is one of the most incredible cars when it comes to holding its value. Yes, that's true, because for one reason, the last 3 years of the shortages, but just they're the most popular cars in America. I mean, just ask the thieves. These things get stolen every single day, and that leads me to, please be sure to check out destroyer1320.com and go check out the anti-theft device to save yourself from getting your car stolen, or at least make it harder for the thieves to steal your car. So with that, yes, the most popular cars out there in America are these Dodge Chargers and these Dodge Challengers. And yes, the dealers know that you'll pay for it. So back to my original point. The markups are them taking the appreciation you believe you're going to get right up front. So don't think, and let me be really clear here, look me in the eyes, don't think that if you pay a $10,000 to $15,000 markup, that car is going to go up beyond that. Keep in mind, if you're right and these cars appreciate in value and don't depreciate like normal cars, considering they're the exact cars they were the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 years, same exact cars, very little differences, that you are going to lose your rear end. You are going to lose a ton of money. It's the same exact car with a last call badge. Or if you buy one of the special edition cars, it's got stickers. And you're going to lose your tail. You're going to lose all that money because it's not going to appreciate. And if it does appreciate, it's only going to appreciate which I don't believe it's going to, but if it were to appreciate, meaning you put it on blocks in your garage, do not drive it for like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, and you kept the miles really, really low, like some of these collectible demons, which by the way were numbered cars and only 1-year cars. They were very special cars, very unique cars, unlike the cars we're talking about buying in 2023, that this car is not going to hold its value. But let's say you keep the miles really low and you keep this thing in pristine condition and you barely drive it and you pull it out, go around the block once in a while and put it back in the garage. And 3-4 years from now, you're like, I've got a very low mileage last call 2023 car. And you call some guy like me and go, you want to buy this thing? And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to have a 2023 car. How much will you give me? I'm going to give you at best maybe MSRP, and if it's appreciated because no one else is selling them, I'm going to give you what you paid for that car. Now that's great news for you. The problem is I doubt that's going to happen. That's most likely not going to happen. You're going to drive that car and you're going to beat up that car. You're going to have fun in that car. Most of us are going to do that. Most of the people buying these cars aren't buying these cars to stick them in the garages. Unlike the demons, which most of those were bought with speculation in mind, most of these cars, a lot of you in my comment section are buying that car to drive that car and have fun with that car. Now, here's the deal. If you're buying that car to hold on to it for a long time, that's cool. Even more of a reason why you should not pay the markups, because they are taking probably 5 years of appreciation right off the table when you take that car. Think of it like crypto. A lot of these cryptocurrencies out there were launched in dark rooms where you and I could not access that crypto. We could not buy it before it hit the market. And the internal investors were all buying this stuff, creating it and buying it before they hit the market, and then taking a humongous spread right up front by the time it came to us. By the time it came to us, like me, you own 13 million Dogecoins, or I'm sorry, Shiba Inu coins that aren't worth $100 right now, because a whole bunch of other people behind the scenes made the money. And behind the scenes for us, it is the Dodge dealers. They're taking the appreciation right up front. Let me go to my screen and show you an example. Hopefully will convince you all to get on the phone and cancel your orders. Think about this. If a whole bunch of you just canceled your Dodge orders, canceled your Charger and Challenger orders that you had markups on right now, the dealers would be panicked, wondering what the hell is going on, and come back to earth on MSRP, in which case you could take that appreciation, or at the very least, not end up buried and upside down in that car if you plan to drive it. Let me go to my computer screen and show you some numbers. All right, so according to a lot of websites right now, the prices are going up. So the Dodge Charger price is probably going up $2,000 in the SXTs and probably $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on the higher trims. We got to assume that that's going to happen. There's already videos out there. Knockout 360 just did one. I don't know where he's getting his information. I imagine it's reliable. But the bottom line is I think we all can pretty much deduce that they're going to raise the prices. It just would make sense. I mean, inflation alone would do that. But what sucks about raising the prices is that interest rates are already up. So now you got higher prices and higher interest rates. So unless you're paying cash, which if you watch my last video or at least 2 videos ago, that's a very, very bad idea. Your money should not be tied up in a car that's depreciating, and otherwise you're just burning cash. But if you did, if you're financing it, you're still paying a higher interest rate than you would have paid on top of a higher price. So let's talk about appreciation, and I'll share this with you right here. Just going back to a 2020 depreciation rate and curve, these cars are in the 90 to 95th percentile in residual value, meaning they hold their value really, really well, better than most other cars. So a 2020 has a forecasted 5-year depreciation rate of 33%. That's pretty amazing. That means you're only going to lose, for a base model Dodge Charger, about $13,000, assuming you bought maybe a GT or something like that. That's pretty incredible when you think about it. So yes, we're all in really good shape when it comes to paying MSRP, which is why I've told you all forever, I'm good paying MSRP. I have not lost any money on any of my cars this last 3 years, and I bought, 5 or 6 of these things, and I've not lost a dime on them. I've been good because they've held their value, and I've taken good care of them, and I've been able to get out of them. But had I paid one single markup, I would have lost money. So let's go ahead and look at this depreciation schedule that is on caredge.com, which you can go look at this stuff. And I just put in a brand new Dodge Charger at $69,311, which would probably fall in the price of, let's say, a Scat Pack with tax and license included, well appointed with a sunroof and the Harman Kardon stereo system, etc. You put 12,000 miles, and in 3 years, the good news is you're going to be around $59,000. So maybe $10,000 you're going to lose. Now, that's your tax, license, everything else, most likely. Pretty close. This is all approximations. But you lose, let's say, about $10,000. That's pretty normal for any car. Now, let's assume that the last call cars will be a little bit better than maybe a 2022, but not a lot better because you're still going to drive that car. So let's say, you lose $10,000 in 3 years. No big deal because you're paying down the loan as well. Let's look at what happens with the amortization schedule. If you pay $69,000 for a car, put $5,000 down, basically is covering your tax and license. If you're in California, if you're somewhere else, obviously it's different. I put a 7.5% interest rate to kind of split the difference between those of you with the incredible low interest rate credit and those of you with the 10, 12% interest rate credit, somewhere in the middle. Obviously, the higher interest rate, the worse these numbers start to look. 60-month loan starting in January, you're looking at in 3 years. So let's go ahead and go, there's 22 to 23, 23 to 24, and 24 to 25. You'll owe about $28,499 on that car. And your payment, let's go back to your payment is $1,282 a month on a Scat Pack. So keep in mind, you're already, and that's putting $5,000 down. Certainly, you can put $10,000 down. It'll change it a little bit. If you want to see what that looks like, I can do that for you. $10,000 down, which I like to put somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 down anyways. The payment goes down a little bit. You're out that cash. And in 2025, you're sitting on a $26,000 difference. So of what you owe. Now, no question, that's in great shape, right? Now, you've paid a little over $33,000, $34,000 in car payments and another $10,000 in your down payment, so depending on what you put down. So let's just say you paid $35,000. Just pick a number here. $35,000 on that car that you paid $69,000 for. Let's look at a 2020 car right now, what they're going for today. And let's go ahead and just assume that in 2020, we could pretty much figure that they were going for $47,490, just base model, Scat Pack, wide body. No additions, no sunroof, no nothing. You know, and I know that when you start adding everything on there, you can get to $55,000, $56,000 pretty quickly. So let's say most of these cars were around $55,000. And these are what's for sale right now in the 2020 range. And they got $51,000, $38,000, $22,000. So $48,000, $47,000. So if you owed $28,000 on this car, you'd be fine. If you owed $35,000 on this car, you'd be fine because you put a little bit of money down and you paid this loan down. You kept it for 3 years on a 60-month loan. Certainly, you paid a stout car payment, and hopefully back then in 2020 you got a better interest rate. But you're right around that the low 40s for cars with. I don't even know why that's so low. It's probably a pretty base model 2020 right there for 41, 42. And then if you go to Kelley Blue Book, a 2020 Dodge Charger, trade-in values right around that 43,000. But remember, in a declining market, what you're looking at when you go to trade this car in is dealers are probably going to pay $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 back a book because they don't want to get caught. They don't want to get stuck with these cars as this economy starts to slide even further. So if you look at trade-in values, 43 on here. Up here it says the range, 41,736. I put good condition because I've never had a dealer willing to do better than that, especially on a Dodge, so they assume we drive the hell out of these things. So that means you're probably going to get offered $40,000 on your 2020, maybe $42,000 to trade it in. Unless they have a buyer waiting in the wings or they're desperate for one of these cars right now, you are going to get about that much. So remember, if you paid this loan down, you've dropped $35,000 your own money into this thing, and now you're going to get out of it for around $40,000. You're okay. You're still okay. It's not horrible. You're not trapped in this car. You're going to be able to get out. As a matter of fact, pretty quickly in the car, if you look at the depreciation schedule, pretty quickly in the car, if you paid $69,000, it's going to drop a little bit, maybe $2,000, $4,000, and in 3 years, you're going to lose about $10,000. If you put $5,000 and you paid anything towards this thing, you're going to be able to get out of the car. Even if you just barely pay this loan down. Let's just say you go back to the amortization schedule and got rid of it pretty quickly. I put 10,000. Let's go back and put 5,000. 5,000. Calculate. And let's say you wanted to get out of it, the first year, $5,000 down, making those stout payments. at $53,000 you would owe, you're still going to be able to get out of that car a year in, assuming that it holds its value right around, let's say, $65,000, because it's a hot car. Now, I'm telling you, I think this depreciation calculator is already figuring in these 2023s, and they're definitely going to hold their value a little bit better than the 2022s. The 2022s are still holding their value pretty good right now. And this is a well-appointed car with the new pricing when I put in this $69,000, because that's what I think you're going to be paying for a Scat Pack now. Right, wrong, and different, probably after tax and license, if you're in California or a state that nails the hell out of you like I'm getting nailed for here in California. All right, so here's where all the numbers go haywire. The numbers go haywire if you pay a humongous, let's say you pay $75,000 for your Scat Pack. Your payment's going to be, only put $5,000 down, $1,402. You need to put a lot more down. So you're going to need to come up with at least that extra $10,000 that they're asking for the sticker. You're going to pay tax and license on that higher price as well. If you're in a state like I am in, where they're going to nail you based on what you paid for that car. So add that in. It's probably another $1,000 on tax and license. And then you look at what happens in 2025. You're in a little, not as bad. It was $28,000 to $31,000, but here's why. You're paying $1,402 for that car. But here's what's really fun. Look at how much you've paid in car payments. You've paid $12,000, another $13,000. So what's that, $25,000? You paid $40,000 in payments. You paid $45,000 total from your down payment to here. So $45,000, you're at $31,000. You're going to net less, obviously, when you sell the car than you would otherwise had you paid MSRP. So now you're, $12,000, $13,000 just screwed. Like, that money's just gone. You will never see that money again. That's my problem with paying markups. $5,000, $10,000 markups, you're taking the appreciation and you're taking the risk with even very, very good, very low depreciation numbers on these cars. Even with them holding their value incredibly, you're still taking a humongous risk to getting caught with a loss on that car. Actually, there's about a 100% chance, unless you park in the garage, that you're going to lose all that money. The dealer took the appreciation. You can't hold that car long enough to get that money out of it. So bottom line is, you will be burning cash. If you pay a markup on these cars, just assume you're burning cash. Now, I'm okay with burning cash. I go to Disneyland with my family, and we'll drop $1,000, spending a day at Disneyland, because you're going to pay through the nose for the tickets, and you're going to have a great time while you're there. And yes, you're going to buy those stupid ears for $30 when you walk out of there. And those memories are priceless. So I'm good paying to have a great time. Where I have challenges, when I know that I can go buy a used car right here, I can go buy a used car and save $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. I can save a ton of money. So why would I buy a car just to get that badge on it if it's the same exact car as it was the year before? And the second I buy that new car, it's a used car. So here's the next thing. New cars, check this out. Used car values dropping. So here's the articles. You look for the used cars, used vehicle prices continue to decline. So used cars are harder to sell than the new cars. So the dealers are in a really interesting spot right now where they can get max price on a brand new car, but they can't get it on a used car. They're getting good prices for the charges, of course, but they're definitely not getting the prices they were getting. Those prices are dropping, meaning that you buy a new car at way over market value, and then you want to go sell that as a used car, those prices are dropping super fast, while new cars demand is really high because all of you out there willing to pay these humongous markups are keeping those prices really high. But the used cars, none of you are lined up to buy those cars. As you can see, there's a ton of these things for sale out there. If you want to go buy a 2020, you want to go buy a 2022, they're all over the place. Let's go look at how many 2022s are out there. And here's a bunch of 2022s right now for $52,000. Wide bodies, $51,000, $53,000. Now, here's what you're going to do. 5,000 miles, $54,000. Think about what you're doing right now. You're going to buy the same exact car, like the same exact car as this car right here, and you're going to pay $65,000 sticker, and then you're going to pay another $5,000 to $10,000 in markup so you can get that badge on it. And check this out. You can get this car right now for $54,000 in Dublin, Ohio. And this is a beautiful car. This is a perfectly good car. It's going to be exactly the same as the car that you're ordering right now and paying $65,000, $70,000. Some of you will pay $75,000+ for the same exact car. 1 year newer because it has a badge on it, thinking that it's going to go up in value. The problem is, and I'll end with this, the dealer took all of your appreciation up front. So my urge to all of you is, unless you're just made of money and just like to burn cash and absolutely just need to have that badge to flex on all your friends, I would tell you, cancel your order. Cancel your order, and let's make these dealers come to us looking for us to buy these cars again. I'm happy to pay MSRP, even with the price increases. I'm good with that. It makes total sense. What I'm not okay with doing is letting them take my appreciation on the cool thing I'm going to buy that I want to sell down the road and maybe make a little bit of money on, or at the very least break even on, rather than let them take that money up front. And then when I go to trade that car in, when the next cool thing comes out and they tell me, well, sorry, I can only give you $45,000 for it or $50,000 for it. And now I'm into this thing for $75,000. And even if I put the cash down, remember, that is cash that's gone, just gone, burnt, toast, never to return to your bank account. It is history, and you're just wasting it. Hopefully this helps some of you make some decisions. Sorry, this is a longer video, but I absolutely want to drive this point home and help all of you save this money. These dealers are not going to be able to do this to us if we stop letting them do this to us. So with that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment, stay motivated, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.